Hello, my name is Mayanka. I am accounts and a finance trainer from UPlus. Today, we will cover the topic of depreciation. We will cover this topic in three parts. Part 1 is already covered by us in previous video. Now we will discuss part 2 of depreciation account and part 3 will be covered by us in the next video. In part 1, we have discussed what is the depreciation, what is the meaning of depreciation, and we have also discussed what is the amortization and depletion. We have discussed the objective of depreciation and the need of depreciation, and we have also discussed the causes. We have also discussed the causes of depreciation and some other relevant points which are important. Now in this part 2 we will cover all other relevant and important topics of depreciation. So now we will start our class depreciation part 2. Depreciation. Factors affecting the amount of depreciation. Normally, the amount of depreciation is calculated. Normally, the amount of depreciation is bifurcated. Means, in the case of depreciation, the depreciable amount of the assets is bifurcated in its useful life, and such amount which is bifurcated is to be known as depreciable amount, and after the bifurcation, which is the amount which is received, is that for the example the value of the asset is 10 lakh rupees, its salvage value is 1 lakh rupees, the depreciable value is 9 lakh, and the useful life of the assets is 9 years. So the 1 lakh rupees is to be considered as depreciation, and it will charge every year up to the 9 year, means up to the useful life of assets. So now we will discuss what are the factors which affect the amount of depreciation. The determination of depreciation depend upon three parameters. The amount of depreciation is calculated on the basis of three parameters. Means when we calculate the amount of depreciation, then these three parameters are used for the calculation of depreciation. Number one, cost. Number two, estimated useful life. Number three, provable salvage value. Number one, cost of assets. Number two, estimated useful life of the assets. And number three, provable salvage value or the residual value of such assets. Number one is cost of assets. What is the meaning of cost of assets? The cost of the assets include invoice price and other costs. The cost of the assets include the invoice price and the other costs which are incurred or which are necessary to put to use of assets or put the assets in its working condition. Is that it is also include those expenditures which are necessary to put the assets in use or working condition. For the example, we have purchased a new machine. Then the transportation charges from the place, the transportation charges from the place from where we have purchased the machinery to the factory will be the amount of freight and it will be included in the cost of assets. Installation charges. Installation charges are included in the cost of assets because these all are the expenditure which are necessary, Beside the purchase price, it includes freight and the transportation cost, transit insurance, installation cost, registration cost, and the amount of commission which is paid on the purchase of assets. So all these items or all these expenditures are added in the cost of assets. In case of purchase of second-hand assets, if there is a purchase of second-hand assets, then it includes initial repair cost to put the assets in workable condition. In case if we have purchased a second-hand assets, so the amount of initial repair which is incurred before the put to use of assets are added in the cost of assets. According to the Accounting Standard 6 of the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, the cost of fixed assets is, as per ICAI, the amount of cost of the fixed asset is the total cost which is spent in connection with its acquisition, installation and commissioning as well as addition or improvement of depreciable assets. As per the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, the cost of fixed assets include the total amount of cost which is spent in the connection with its acquisition, its installation and its commissioning as well as for the addition or improvement of depreciable assets. For the example, a a photocopy machine is a photocopy machine is purchased for rupees 50,000 and 5,000 rupees is spent for the transportation and installation in case the original cost of the asset is 55,000. 5,000 plus 50,000 plus 5,000, which will be write off as depreciable, which will be write off as depreciation over the useful life of assets. So this is the meaning and this is the calculation of cost of assets. Now the second is estimated net residual value or estimated salvage value. The net residual value, also known as scrap value, and the salvage value for accounting purpose. For the accounting purpose, the estimated net residual value is also known as scrap value or the salvage value. It is estimated net realizable value of the assets at the end of useful life. Means the salvage value is the amount which will be recovered, at the end of useful life of the assets. The net residual value is calculated after deducting the expenses which is necessary for the disposal of assets. Is that the net residual value is a value which will be received on the disposal of such assets after its useful life. And the net residual value is calculated after deducting all the expenses which are incurred at the time of disposal of assets. For the example, there is a machine which is purchased for rupees 50,000 and expected useful life of such machine is 10 years. At the end of 10th year, at the end of 10th year, it is expected to have a sale value of 6,000. Means its salvage value is 6,000. but there are some expenditure which is required to be done to dispose of such assets, and the estimated expenses is 1000. So the net realizable value or the net residual value or the net scrap value of such assets shall be 5000. 6000 minus 1000, 5000 rupees. So this is the estimated net residual value. Now the third point is depreciable cost. Depreciable cost. The depreciable cost means the cost of assets less its residual value. Means the depreciable cost of an asset is equal to its cost minus net residual value. For the example, the depreciable cost of machine is 45,000. The depreciable cost of machine is 45,000, means 5,000 less residual value. It is the depreciable cost which will be distributed and it will be charged as a depreciation over its useful life of assets. It will be charged as depreciation over the useful life of the assets. In the above example, 40,000 will be charged as depreciation over the period of 10 years. Over the period of 10 years. It is important to mention that here that total amount of depreciation which is charged over the useful life of the assets must be equal to depreciable cost. Is that it may be noted that the amount of depreciation which is charged by the organization over the useful life should be equal to depreciable cost of the assets. Means the depreciable cost of the assets should be equal to the amount of depreciation which is charged up to the useful life of assets. If total amount of depreciation charged is less than depreciable assets, then the capital expenditure is under recover. If the depreciable assets is if the amount of depreciation is less than the amount of depreciable assets, then the cost of assets or the capital expenditure is under recovered. It is the violation of principle of proper matching concept. It is the violation of principle of proper matching of revenue and expenditure. As per the matching concept, the amount of the expenditure should be related to the should be should be equal to the related income. So in this case, if the amount of depreciation is less than the depreciable assets, then it is the violation of principle of proper matching of revenue and expenses. What is the estimated useful life? What is the estimated useful life? The estimated useful life of the assets is the estimated economic or commercial life of the assets. The estimated useful life of the assets is the estimated economic or commercial life of the assets. It is the estimated commercial life or economic life of the assets. Physical life is not important for the purpose of depreciation. Is that physical life is not important for this purpose because assets may still exist physically but may not be capable for the commercial activities. Physical life is not important because the assets may be available physically, but it may not be capable, commercially for the purpose of production. For the example, a machine is purchased and it is estimated that a machine is purchased and it is estimated that it can be used in the production process for 5 years. After 5 years, the machine may still in the good condition, but it cannot be used for the production profitability. Is that it is still used, but the cost of production may be high. Therefore, the useful life of the asset is considered as 5 years, irrespective of physical life. We will not consider physical life. We will consider the commercial life of the assets for the purpose of depreciation. Estimation of useful life of an asset is difficult as it depends upon the several factors. Estimation in the case of useful life of the assets is very much difficult because the life of the assets is depend upon the several factors such as label, usage label of assets, maintenance of assets, technological changes of assets, and the market changes of assets. These are the some factors which can affect the estimation of useful life of assets. As per the accounting standard 6, as per the accounting standard 6, the useful life of the asset is, as per the accounting standard 6, depreciation accounting, which is issued by Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, the useful life of the assets is normally the period over which it is expected to be used by the enterprise. It is the period over which the assets can be used by the enterprises. Normally, the useful life is shorter than physical life. The useful life of the assets is expressed in the number of years, but it can be expressed in other units, just like number of unit of output, number of working hours, etc. Is that the useful life of the assets can be measured, in number of unit of output or number of working hours. So this is the estimation of useful life. Useful life depend upon the following factors. The useful life of any assets depend upon the following factors. Number one, predetermined by the legal or contractual limit. It is depend upon predetermined. It is predetermined by legal or contractual limit. Is that in the case of leasehold assets, the useful life is the period of lease. In the case of these assets, the useful life of the assets is lease term, the period of lease. Number two, the number of shifts for which the assets is to be used. The number of shifts for which the assets to be used. Number three, repair and maintenance policy. Repair and maintenance policy of the business organization means how they maintain such assets. If the assets is maintained properly and in a very good condition, then the life of the asset will be increased. It is depend upon their policies. Technological observation, innovation and improvement in production method, innovation and improvement in the production method, and legal or other restriction. These all are the factors. These all are the factors on the basis of which the useful life of the assets is determined. Method of calculating the amount of depreciation. Now we will discuss the method of calculating the amount of depreciation. Depreciation amount to be charged for during an accounting period. The amount of depreciation is charged during the accounting period and it is depend upon the depreciable assets or depreciable amount. And it is also depend upon the method. The amount of depreciation is depend upon the method which is used by the organization for the calculation of depreciation. For the purpose of this, there are two methods are there are two methods which are mandated by the law and enforced by professional accounting practice in India. There are normally two methods which are used practically and which are mandated by the law and which will be professionally used in accounting in India. These methods are number one, straight line method, SLM method, and number two is written down value method. Number two is WDV method. Number one is SLM method and number two is WDV method. Now we will discuss the SLM method and the WDV method in detailed form, and we will discuss how to calculate the amount of depreciation under this method. Besides these two main methods, there are some other methods such as annuity method, depreciation fund method, insurance policy method, sum of year digit method, double declining method, etc., which may be used for determining the amount of depreciation. These methods can also be used for the calculating the amount of depreciation. The selection of an appropriate method depends upon the following. Means there are the following factors which are to be considered for the selection of appropriate appropriate accounting or appropriate depreciation method. Number one, type of assets. Number one is type of assets. Number two is nature of use of assets. Number two is nature of use of assets. Number three, circumstances prevailing in the business. Number three is circumstances prevailing in the business. Is that on the basis of type of assets, on the basis of nature of use of assets, and on the basis of circumstances which is prevailing in the business. On the basis of these three, on the basis of these three, the the method of accounting or the method of depreciation is determined. As per the accounting standard 6, as per the accounting standard 6, the selected depreciation method should be applied consistently from period to period. Means if there is any method which is adopted by the organization for the depreciation, then it should be followed or it should be applied consistently. It means such method should be used year to year basis. Change in depreciation method may be used only under the special circumstances when it is required by law or when there is a special circumstances. Number one is straight line method, means SLM method. This is the earliest and one of the widely used method of providing the depreciation. The SLM method is a method which is commonly and which is very much used for providing the amount of depreciation. This method is based on the assumption. This method is based on the assumption of equal uses of assets over its useful life. In this method, there is the assumption that the assets will be used equally over the useful life, over its useful life. So in this case, the amount of depreciation is charged equally. So the amount of depreciation is charged equally. Is that for this reason it is called straight line. For this reason it is called straight line method, because the amount of depreciation and corresponding time period, because in this method the amount of depreciation is charged equally into a straight line. There is no change in the depreciation over the useful life of the asset. So for this reason, such method is to be known as straight line method. This is also called fixed installment method because the amount of depreciation remains same from year to year basis. In the case of SLM method, such method is also be known as fixed installment method because in this method, the amount of depreciation remains same year to year basis. There is no change in the depreciation. According to this method, a fixed and an equal amount of depreciation is charged in every accounting period during the during the useful life of assets. For the example, a asset is purchased of rupees 1 lakh and the useful life of the assets is 9 years. The salvage value of the assets is 10,000 rupees. So the depreciable amount of the assets is 1 lakh minus 10,000. It is 90,000 rupees. So the amount of depreciation will be 90,000 divided by 9. Number of years 9. So the amount of depreciation will be 10,000 rupees per year. 10,000 rupees per year. So as per the SLM method, such 10,000 rupees will be charged from depreciation from profit and loss account every year till the 9th year of such assets. So in this case, the amount of depreciation will be same and it will be equal under the SLM method. The amount annually charged at depreciation is such that it reduces the original cost of the assets to its scrap value at the end of useful life. The amount which is charged at depreciation in such a method is reduce the original cost, means the depreciation amount is equal to original cost less the amount of scrap value divided by its number of years or its useful life. This method is also known as fixed percentage on original cost method because the same percentage is used for calculating the amount of depreciation in this method year to year basis. The depreciation amount to be provided under this method is computed by using the following formula. By using the following formula, we will calculate the amount of depreciation. Depreciation is equal to cost of assets. Depreciation is equal to cost of assets minus estimated net realizable value divided by estimated useful life of assets. Cost of assets minus estimated residual value divided by useful life of assets. So, on the basis of such formula, we can calculate the amount of depreciation under the SLM method. The rate of depreciation under the SLM method is the percentage of total cost of assets with total cost of assets to be charged as depreciation during the useful life of assets. So the rate of depreciation is to be calculated as the rate of depreciation is equal to annual depreciation amount divided by 100 into acquisition cost. Depreciation amount into acquisition cost divided by 100. This is the rate of depreciation as per SLM method. Now we will discuss an example, and on the basis of such example, we will understand the amount of depreciation and the rate of depreciation. Example, the original cost of the assets is 2,50,000. The original cost of assets is 2,50,000. The useful life of the assets is 10 years and the residual value of the assets is 50,000. Now, the amount of depreciation to be charged every year will be computed as follows. The amount of depreciation will be cost of the assets minus residual value divided by number of years. So the cost of assets is 2,50,000 less the amount of residual value 50,000 divided by useful life or estimated life of asset is 10. So the amount of depreciation per year will be 20,000 rupees. and the rate of depreciation will be annual depreciable amount 20,000, annual depreciable amount 20,000 into 100 divided by acquisition cost 2,50,000. So the rate of depreciation will be 8%. The rate of depreciation will be 8%. So as per this question or as per this example, we have understood how to calculate the amount of depreciation and how to calculate the rate of depreciation under the SLM method. Now we will discuss the advantage of SLM method. What is the advantages of SLM method? The SLM method has certain advantages which are as follows. There are some advantages which are given as follows. Number one, it is very easy or very simple to understand and apply. This method is very easy and very simple to understand and apply. Number two, assets can be depreciated up to the net realizable value or zero value. In this method, the assets can be depreciated up to the net realizable value or zero value. Number three, every year the same amount is charged in the profit and loss account. Every year the amount of depreciation is same, so the same amount is charged in the profit and loss account. Number four, this method is suitable for those assets. This method is suitable for those assets whose useful life can be estimated accurately and where the use of the asset is consistent from year to year basis as a leasehold building. So these are the advantages of SLM method. Now we will discuss the limitation. We will discuss the limitation of SLM method. Although SLM method is simple and easy to apply, but there are some limitations. Number one, this method is based on the faulty assumption. In this method, there is the faulty assumption that the same amount of the depreciation is charged every year. This method is based on faulty assumption of the same amount of the utility of the assets in the different accounting years. Number two, when the passes of time, work efficiency of the asset decrease and the repair and maintenance expenses increase. Hence, under this method, the total amount charged against profit on account of depreciation and repair taken together will not be uniform throughout the useful life of the assets. Rather, it will keep increasing from year to year basis. It will be increased from year to year basis. So these are the limitations of SLM method. Now we will discuss the written down value method. We will discuss WDV method. Under this method, the depreciation is charged on the book value of assets. In the WDV method, the amount of depreciation is charged on the book value of assets. The book value keep on reducing by the annual charges of depreciation. Every year, the amount of depreciation reduce due to the depreciation. So it is also be known as reducing balance method. So it is to be known as reducing balance method. We will discuss it by the way of example. For example, the original cost of the assets is 2 lakh. For example, the cost of the assets is 2 lakh, 2 lakh. And the depreciation is charged at the rate 10% per annum. The amount of depreciation is charged at the rate 10% per annum at the WDV method. Then the amount of depreciation will be calculated as follows. The amount of depreciation will be calculated as follows. Depreciation first year 20 lakh into 10%. Sorry, 2 lakh into 10% is equal to 20,000. So the WDV method will, WDV value will be, WDV of the assets will be 2 lakh minus 20,000, 1 lakh 80,000 at the end of first year. In the second year, the amount of depreciation is 1 lakh 80,000 into 10%. 1 lakh 80,000 into 10%. 18,000 is the amount of depreciation. Then the written down value at the end of second year will be 1 lakh 80,000 minus 18,000, 1 lakh 62,000. Depreciation in third year will be 1 lakh 62,000 into 10%. It will be 16,200. So the written down value at the end of third year will be 1 lakh 62,000 minus 16,200. It will be 1 lakh 45,800 rupees. 1,45,800 rupees is the WDV, written down value at the end of third year of the assets. So in this method, the amount of depreciation is calculated on the WDV. As evidence from the example, the amount of depreciation goes reducing every year. In the WDV method, the amount of the depreciation reduce every year. For this reason, this method is also known as reducing installment or diminishing value method, because the value of the depreciation is reducing or diminishing year to year basis. This method is based upon the consumption. This method is based upon the consumption. Sorry. This method is based on the assumption that the benefit which is arising to the business, or the benefit accruing to the business from the assets, keep on diminishing as the assets become old. He said the benefits which are arise from such assets will be diminished or will be reduced year to year basis, because the assets will become old. Under this method, under the WDV method, the rate of depreciation is calculated as follows. Under this method, the rate of depreciation is calculated by this following formula. The rate of depreciation is equal to 1 minus n, means year, root salvage value divided by cost. And the root salvage value divided by cost. So the rate of depreciation is to be calculated by this following formula. Now we will discuss the advantage of written down value method. There are some advantages of written down value method which are given as follows. This method is based on more realistic assumption. This method is based on more realistic assumption that the benefit from the assets go on diminishing or reducing with the passage of time. Means the benefit which is realized from the assets will be reduced year to year basis. Hence, it calls for proper allocation of cost, because higher amount of depreciation is charged in the earlier year when the asset's utility is high as compared to the later when the asset's efficiency is low. Number 2 advantage, it will result into almost equal burden of depreciation and repair expenditure taken together every year on the profit and loss account, because in the later year the amount of depreciation will be decreased but the amount of repair will be increased. So it has almost equal burden of depreciation. Number 3, income tax act accept income tax act accept this method for tax purpose. WDV method is used by the income tax department for the calculation of tax. So these are the advantage of WDV method. Some advantages are, some other advantages are, as a large portion of cost is written down or written off in the earlier year, loss due to the absorption get reduced when the large portion of the cost of assets is written down in the earlier year, so the losses which arise due to the absorption will also be reduced. This method is suitable for the fixed assets which last for long. This method of the depreciation is useful for the those fixed assets which last for long and which require increased amount of repair and maintenance every year with the passes of time. It can also be used where absorption rate is high. This method can be used when the absorption rate is high. So these all are the advantages of the WDV method. Now we will discuss limitations of WDV method. Although this method is totally based on more elastic assumption. This method is more realistic assumption based on more realistic assumption, but it will also suffer some limitations. Number one limitation is as depreciation is calculated at fixed percentage of written down value. Under this method, the amount of depreciation is calculated at fixed percentage of written down value and the depreciable cost of the assets cannot be fully written off. In the case of WDV method, the total amount of the depreciable amount cannot be fully recovered. Is that the value of the assets can never be zero. In this case, there is a violation of matching concept. Number second limitation is it is difficult to ascertain the suitable rate of depreciation. Under the WDV method, it is difficult to calculate a suitable rate of depreciation. It is difficult to calculate the suitable rate of depreciation under the WDV method. So these are the limitations of WDV method. Now we will discuss a comparison or the differences between the WDV method. Now we will discuss the comparison and the comparison between SLM and the WDV method. Following are the point of differences between these two methods. There are the following point of differences which are given as follows. Number one, basis of difference, SLM method and the WDV method. Number one, basis of charging depreciation. Basis of charging of depreciation. Under the SLM method, the depreciation is charged on the basis of original cost. On the basis of original cost, the amount of depreciation is charged. Under the WDV method, the depreciation is charged on the basis of book value, which is declined year to year basis. In the WDV method, the amount of depreciation is charged on the basis of book value, and such book value will be reduced year to year basis. Number two, annual depreciation charge. Annual depreciation charge. In the SLM method, the amount of depreciation is fixed. The amount of depreciation is fixed every year. But in the case of WDV method, the amount of depreciation decline year to year basis. In the WDV method, the amount of depreciation decline year to year basis. Number 3, total charge against profit and loss account in the respect of depreciation and repair. In the case of SLM method, the amount of depreciation and repair will be unequal year to year basis. It because the amount of depreciation will be increased year to year basis and the depreciation will remain same. So it will be unequal year to year basis. In the case of WDV method, almost equal every year. Almost it will be equal. Number 4, differences recognition by income tax. The SLM method is not recognized by income tax, but the WDV method is recognized. But the WDV method is recognized by income tax. Suitability. Suitability. This is suitable for the assets in which repair and maintenance is less. Such method is suitable for those assets in which repair and maintenance are less. The possibility of end observation is low. Scrap value depend upon the time involved. The scrap value is also depend upon the time involved. But in the case of WDV, it is suitable for those assets which are affected by the technological changes or which require the more repair expenses with the passage of time. So these are the differences between the SLM method and the WDV method. So on the basis of this, we have completed part 2 of the depreciation account of the depreciation. In this class, we have discussed the method of depreciation. The method of depreciation. So kindly consider part 1 of such a topic also and part 3 so that you can completely understand such topic. Thank you so much for watching this video. Okay, bye bye and have a nice day.